Welcome everyone to the Mastermind Book Club, here in another session of our summary of very powerful books that are completely providing ammunition for our lifestyles, for our health, for our productive opportunity to become more and more successful, because we are a success, but sometimes we just don't realize that we are a success. 15 secrets successful people know about time management by Kevin Kruse. Now, Kevin Kruse is a very powerful author, and in this book, he explains a lot about himself. I don't want to give it all away, but Kevin Kruse has provided actual research into thousands of working professionals and on interviews with Mark Cuban and other billionaires, Olympic athletes, straight-A students, and over 200 entrepreneurs. Not everyone that says that they're an entrepreneur is necessarily an entrepreneur, but that's where you start without knowing what it is, and then you figure it out in the path. So in these 15 secrets, our mastermind members are going to take at least one and explain in brief detail what impacted them. We'd like to start out with Charles. Charles, you want to go over secret number one?
Yes, I have number one. They focus on the minutes. Basically, you get 16,800 seconds, and you get 1,440 minutes in the course of your day. To take advantage of these minutes and see what you actually have to do, it's good not to waste your time, to have everything written out in an orderly fashion, not to get get distracted from what you have planned, and know that time is always ticking. You can't get the time back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So that's even something that you can apply not only to your time management, but to apply in your life as well. You're muted.
That is powerful, Charles. That's very powerful. Thank you. Thank you for that. And the 1,440 minutes is very important.
And 16,800 seconds.
And compared to seconds, which one do you think is more powerful?
Both. Because we waste a lot of time just being idle. That was one of the things that he focused on in the course of the book. A lot of times we start off with a bang, but we get distracted. Things come up, your focus wanes, or you're tired, and you don't really focus on your minutes. And if you lose that time, you can't get it back. It's over. It's gone.
That's correct. But now, in reference to Kevin Kruse, he puts it this way. If you attempt to do, let's say you do a 1-minute meditation, you can't do a 1-second meditation. You need at least a minute. And Gina explained it very well in one of her meditation sessions with us. A 1-minute meditation can be accomplished, but a 1-second meditation is not that accomplishable, at least.
And he did say something like, you don't need a lot of time. So
you don't need a lot of time, but you need
I threw the seconds in there because he stated you don't need a lot of time. Just
correct.
A few seconds or a minute to get to the focal point and push forward.
All right. Thank you, Charles. How about you, Martha? What would you have to say on one of these?
I pick up number 14.
14.
I have a reminding morning routine ritual.
They have a consistent morning routine ritual.
Yes.
This
book for me, it was outstanding. He's Kevin Kruse going, I'm sorry. He's going straight to the point, and he helped me a lot to improve my life to reading this book. I really love it. And establish the morning routine. He say it takes 60 minutes for the morning routine. Get up like at 5 a.m. And 60 minutes, you have to drink a glass of water, the first, and then take a deep breath when you get up. List 3 things that you're grateful for write in your journal. You have to keep a journal or a notebook. It's very powerful to have these two tools for us. Review and visualize your goals, and read 10 pages or your book that was you reading at the moment. Exercise and listen a podcast into when you exercise, and have a healthy breakfast, take a shower, and go to work or go to your daily routine. And a lot of famous people doing this daily routine, like Tony Robbins, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't say the last
Arnold
name.
Schwarzenegger, yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah. They always keeping the daily routine. It's very powerful for the start early in the morning and do all these 8 steps that he was talking about. And I think it's very powerful for everyone.
Yes, it is. Very, very powerful. They have a consistent morning ritual. Now, one of the rituals that was described in here was Kevin Cruz had a bet with the president, then former President George Bush. I don't know which one. I believe it was senior, on who would read the most books in a year. Does anyone remember how many books that was?
95.
95. Who read 95? The president, right?
President.
Yes. And Kevin Cruz read how many?
115 or something.
Yes, 116. That's correct.
Somewhere around there.
And we're halfway there. We're halfway there. However, we're not as half busy as the president was. Meaning, if he had time for that, to read 95 books a year, then guess what? We have the time. How do they read these books? I don't know the full secrets to it, but if you listen to Kevin Cruz, as he said, the 80-20 rule, we'll go over that when I think somebody has that. So when we go over that, then we do. Who's got 80-20 rule? Who can go over that one? Number 10.
I don't think any Pareto principle.
Go ahead, Reg. Yes.
I don't think anyone has it. I mean, that's all.
Okay, so no one has number 10. Okay, well, we'll keep going. Yes. Gina?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Gina. Which one did you pick of the 15?
I have number 9. They say no to almost everything.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Ooh, I find that one pretty fascinating, that because I for one, I find, myself like spreading myself thin. Usually, he mentioned something in there about women, for example, how we have the disease to please. And so sometimes we find it very difficult to say no, to things that come our way. It's like we always want to say, yes, we'll take care of that. I'll do that, And so we don't take out the time to do what we have on our priority list or some of the goals that we might have set up for ourselves. And so I would like to practice that one a little bit more, being able to say no to others so that I can say yes necessarily to myself. So that's the one that stood out the most to me. I am just like amazed, thinking about how, say some of the presidents, they talk about presidents on here, how they have time, to read books. And I would sit around sometimes, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I don't have time to do this and I don't have time to do that. It says on there, we will make time for that which we love, for that which we think is our priority, we will make time for it. So it's just a matter of setting up the time and just taking care of it and doing it. So we should learn how to say no a little bit more. So that's the one thing that I would like to take up from there. I want to practice saying no.
Well, thank you, Gina. And it's not easy at the beginning, but as you start, magic starts to happen. I've practiced no to the point that in some of the groups that I am in, they say, oh, he is too busy. Mm-hmm. And that's because I kept saying no, because there's only so much that you can give. And just like Gina said, some of us are vulnerable, especially women. constantly saying yes. So just be aware of that saying no is powerful. I'm in a group, a nonprofit group, and everyone there doesn't like to say no. What do they do instead of saying no? No response. That is lame. No response is lame. Instead of saying no, you make people waste their time waiting for your response. And my wife has taught me, if they don't respond, just move on. And, because she knows that type of, those types of people. And I'm not familiar with it, but she's right. If you don't get a response, it's because they're cowards. They don't want to respond. It's unfortunate. So thank you, Gina, for that one. Reggie, which one did you pick? Reggie? Guess Reggie's busy, probably.
They focus on energy.
Oh, there he goes. Reggie.
Number 15, they don't think about time. They focus on energy.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Enlighten
So
us.
the point about energy is, for example, firstly, is that your energy is probably what has been said is probably the highest in the morning. So at that point, I think you will be focusing on time because you want to focus on the fact that at this particular time or at particular times, if not the morning, this is where my energy is highest. So this is where you could take advantage of your energy. But aside from that, you don't get more time, but you can, in a sense, get more energy through different methods, whereby there's a point where if you take certain breaks every so many minutes, like every 30 45 minutes, I think it was, I don't remember the exact time, you take like a 5-minute break, you can actually kind of like re-energize yourself, and you can actually ultimately magnify or increase the amount of energy that you have so that you can then become more productive. So that's the key right there, is not so much how much time you're using to do a thing, because you could use a lot of time and not get very far because basically you're not very enthused, your energy is low, you're distracted, you're doing all these types of other things, and you're trying to multitask and so on and so forth. So you're putting in a lot of hours per se, but you're not really getting much done because of the things that I just enumerated. But if you will do things whereby, like I said, you actually take some of that time to actually increase or make your energy more, then the amount of time that you ultimately will be used to in a more fruitful way, because the amount of energy that you'll have during that period that you're actually working will be so much more that you can then purposely put it towards doing the things that are that you're currently doing, whether it's a job, whether it's some activities that are your own personal thing, that will then allow you to accomplish so much more and come out on the other hand or on the other side of it much more accomplished. So that's what I'll say to that.
Awesome. And that is the truth, that each and every one of you has captured very powerful information. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Charles, Martha, and Gina.
Even they say that the more energy we have is after 2 hours we wake up and pay my attention, because sometimes we wasted 2 hours after we wake up.
That's exactly what Reggie said. Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's what I heard.
The first part of the morning, but the thing is, I'll touch one other thing, is that we do things during those hours where we lose the efficient time that we could use towards other things, and even in some of the morning routines we have, which a lot of us have, aren't advantageous to us. Like even just eating breakfast and things of that nature, because you don't really need to eat breakfast during those times. Like he even talked about flushing his body out with water, which is something I do. As soon as I, get up and go to work, I drink, maybe 30 ounces of warm water, put some lemon in it or whatever. And I don't eat until 11, 12 o'clock. So you can just flush your system out because all the toxins are in there, and use that time to do different things. Like I know I have a certain morning routine. I know somebody covered that. You did, Martha. You can really take advantage of those morning hours. And for me, by the time it's like 8 o'clock, I feel like I've had a full day, like literally. And I'm usually up 3 or 4, if not a little early. But by 8 o'clock, like it feels like a full day.
Everyone has a different schedule. Reggie's is the most convenient one if you don't have high energy in the morning. Like for me, That's pretty much what I used to do, what Reggie is doing. However, because I'm exercising a lot, I'm doing a lot of cardio, and I'm starting to do some weights, I need more food intake. Otherwise, I will look like the fast runners, very, very slim up top and then very muscled on the legs. And I want to look even throughout in reference to having muscular build. So what Reggie's saying on one end, yes, it makes sense, but on another, it does not. For me, for some people like me. So it just depends on you. However, if you're not as if you're more sedentary than I am, then what Reggie's saying is very powerful, very, very powerful. I need to accustom myself because I keep training myself for marathons. So I need more food intake, more carbs, more protein, more fat. So in order to finish this off, I just want to tell you something that's very important here. Not in the 15 secrets, but at the last chapter, he goes over the 15 secrets, but he also goes over another 20 additional points that are very important here. And one of them is being part of a mastermind. And I think everyone in this group is part of the Mastermind Book Club. I believe. No, I don't think. I know you are. I know you are. And we've been around for over 2 years. And the reality is it has made a huge impact in my life. And I hope that I'm not wrong, that it has made an impact for you, because otherwise you wouldn't be hanging out here so long. You know how powerful this is. And I'd say one of the biggest things that for me psychologically right now is one, picking up the notebook and starting to utilize it as a tool, as it's meant to be. Most of us were shown calendars in school or in college, but we were never taught how to utilize it to be more efficient. Not just to have a to-do list. A to-do list is good, but a calendar, putting things in your calendar, is much more powerful. That's one. Number two is outsourcing. Sometimes we forget, and this is not the first time we've gone over most of these. Sometimes you got to have somebody else do your laundry or do your bills or errands and so on. I continuously look for people who I can hire for 2 to 3 hours on average. So that way I'm outsourcing and having other people work for me. So that's a reality. This book is very powerful. I'd say we should come back to this book within the next 3 to 4 months. This is something that we should be applying. I picked up the notebook yesterday and I started writing away lots and lots of information. I didn't pick it up today because I've been out and about, but hey, 80-20 principle is the other one, number 10, the 80-20 principle. Each one of you knows this. Why is it so important? Apply it to anything, just a book, for example. If you read the first chapter and the last chapter of a book, you'll catch 80% of the information in a book. That's a reality. The president, George Bush, back in before 2000, the 1990s, I believe, late 90s or so, read 95 books in a challenge with Kevin Cruz, and Kevin Cruz read 116 books. Guess what? If the president could read 95 books and manage the United States, why can't we? So let's get these habits tied in and keep them succinct, and don't ever stop believing in the books, because the more books we read, the more knowledge we acquire. Stay safe. This is the Mastermind Book Club signing off, and we're going to have our back session where we don't record, where we just keep talking about the importance of this book. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and until next week, where we'll review another powerful book to improve our lives.